Should I show you guys this video? It's really funny. Let's just watch it together, and then I'm going to go get ready for my show. It's called Bright Idea or something. It's just propaganda stuff. But I'm obsessed with how lies are covered. Bright Idea, plane, Pacific Ocean. Guys, it's so pathetic once you see it. Why don't planes fly over the Pacific Ocean? Okay, let me just download this, and then we'll go through this. It's so bad. I don't want to be a guy that doesn't believe the Earth is a spinning ball. It carries with it an insane amount of social shame. But want to know what's way worse than social shame? Living obvious lies. Like, it's so stupid that when you start seeing it, just don't get angry. Like, enjoy your life. Like, don't get angry. You know, everybody fell for it. It's like, the problem is sometimes when you see this stuff, a lot of people get really mad. And they just want to preach and tell everybody, you don't understand, man. I get it. Maybe the veil is Antarctica. I have no idea. It's also important that I don't say things that I don't know about. I'm blown away by mud floods. Just so much that we don't know. We just don't know. And we've been lied to for, just like Elon Musk. I just showed you a video of Elon Musk saying that we're facing a catastrophe, that we don't have enough babies. And then I showed you Cortez where they're talking about eating babies because there's way too many babies. There's people simply, and it's not, people simply lie. You know, sometimes it's that simple. Embarrassment, greed, lust, sloth, like just the basic deadly sins. But let's just watch this together. And we'll just analyze it. This has got 6 million views, and a lot of people have probably sent it to their kids and say, "Oh, you people are so stupid. Check out, this is an explanation as to why planes don't go over the Pacific." Let's just watch this. Oh, if
you know, making all these videos is pretty exhausting work. What I need is a vacation. Somewhere far away, preferably exotic, and must be exciting. Korea or maybe Japan. Great food, fantastic culture.
This is all wizardry. They're just setting up like, just
of ways to embarrass myself by misunderstanding the local customs. What's not to love? But I noticed something strange while booking my Asian getaway. My plane seems to be making a detour over Alaska. Why is my plane going out of its way to avoid the Pacific Ocean?
That's a great question. And I'll show you something real fast. The UN symbol. The symbol of the UN is what's widely considered to be the... I don't know the shape of the Earth, guys. I don't. But just hear me out. The UN symbol, hiding in plain sight, is the symbol of the currently accepted flat Earth model, right? And as you can see, if someone were to fly from... This isn't created by the mad minds of the flat Earth community. This is the United Nations that signed a treaty that no one's allowed to go to Antarctica, you know, magnetic north that circles the entire globe, and may or may not be an giant ice shelf. According to this, if you were to fly from Los Angeles to Japan, you would fly exactly in a straight line the way that they're discussing. Now let's listen to the propaganda about why we don't go in a straight line according to the globe Earth. Here we go.
Mistake? Did I accidentally sign up for the caribou route? At first, you might think this was a safety issue. The Pacific is the largest and deepest of the world's oceans. If a plane encounters a problem over a seemingly endless and bottomless pond of water, the pilots are going to have a rough time finding a safe spot to set her down.
That's what they also say about why we don't fly over Antarctica. Right now, America's had, I think, a few 100 million flights not have any problems. That, by the way, this is complete. They fly over the Sahara Desert. They just fly over the Atlantic. This is just insane. That they're saying that they don't fly over because they need a place to crash land. Okay.
Alaska might not be overpopulated with international airports, but it's a lot better than the middle of the ocean. How's that for a tourism slogan?
Whoa!
Alaska. At least it's better than sinking. Okay,
All right, how about this for a tourism slogan? That's a lie.
apologize, Alaska. Guessing that it was a safety precaution wouldn't be entirely wrong. When planning a route, many pilots prefer to maximize the number of airports along their path. Emergencies are incredibly rare relative to how many planes take to the
That isn't true. None of this is true.
skies every day. But I can't think of many things more stressful than losing an engine 30,000 feet over the middle of the Pacific Ocean. That said, it isn't the main reason airlines tend to avoid making a straight shot east to west. Ultimately, it comes down to saving fuel and time.
Okay, so he's now saying, this is what he's saying, is it saves fuel and time to not do a straight line. And now let's figure out why exactly it saves fuel and time to go a much, much longer route.
It's easy to forget that an airline is a business whose profits depend on how quickly and cheaply it can move passengers between destinations. People also prefer to get to their next stop as quickly as possible, so it's a win-win for both airlines and passengers. Long story short, which is not my forte, speed is usually the primary factor in
So just understand that. Just watch this again with your eyes open. He's not explaining why. He's saying that because of saving money and time, they don't do a straight line. And he doesn't explain why. And don't say jet stream because it's the same both directions. So don't you even try that bullshit.
time. It's easy to forget that an airline is a business.
No, it isn't. No one forgets that an airline is a business.
A business whose profits depend on how quickly and cheaply it can move passengers between destinations. People also prefer to get to their next stop as quickly as possible.
Right, so this is him explaining why it isn't a straight line.
So it's a win-win for both airlines and passengers. Long story short, which is not my forte, speed is usually the primary factor in determining a plane's flight path.
Okay, so bear in mind, this is just basic wizardry. When someone says it would be faster and more efficient to go a straight line than to go all the way around through Alaska, and he's saying the reason they do it is because of speed. But
excluding special circumstances such as passing through the jet streams or other meteorological concerns, the fastest route is almost always the one closest to a straight line.
okay,
But wait, just look at that flight path. It's anything but a straight line.
I know, right?
Well, yeah, when you look at it on a flat map. But our planet isn't flat now, is it? It can be confusing since we're
No, when you look at it on a globe map is exactly the problem, buddy. Like, the straight line doesn't go over Alaska. Like, guys, the lies are falling apart. The globe is not a real map.
looking at our world on a two-dimensional plane.
Whoa.
Unless you bust out a globe each time you need to check where some city or country is located.
But on the globe, the straight line is not going up through Alaska. Like, not even close.
You probably look at a world map.
Yeah.
So, on a 2D map, making a giant rainbow to avoid the Pacific Ocean looks like a much longer route.
But show us on a globe
since
now.
the Earth is a sphere, more or less.
Okay, so look, right there, I just paused it. Why wouldn't it still be that?
On that later, a straight line is going to...
This is what, I'm just going to let you guys know what he's going to say. He's going to say it has a bigger bulge around the equator. When you run the numbers of the bulge around the... Just watch this. It's just so stupid.
very different in three-dimensional spaces.
Oh.
Okay, let's do a little experiment.
Let's.
Got a globe nearby? Oh yeah, I just said most of us...
A hot air balloon, you say? Oh, no. A nonsense experiment.
Google Maps.
Okay.
All right, here. I'll show you on mine.
Great. Look at the straight line, bud.
One end of a string on Los Angeles and the other end on Tokyo. When I pull it tight, you'll notice that the string isn't running exactly parallel to the lines of latitude printed on the globe. Instead, it'll bend slightly upwards as it follows the curvature of this mini Earth I got at the bookstore down the road. This effect is even...
Did anyone see the curve? Okay, so none of this makes any sense. The shortest string would not then go up through Alaska. The cover-up is where you see the lie.
or down the road. This effect is even more pronounced in practice because my globe isn't a perfect recreation of the real deal. In fact, the problem is that it's too perfect. You see, unlike a globe, the Earth isn't a perfect sphere. Our planet is slightly bigger around the middle, kind of like me after the holidays.
So funny! He's so funny that I'll just believe his lies. When you see the numbers, understand that if that was shrunken to the size of a tennis ball, it would be a perfect sphere. It's like 28,000 to 29,000. The fraction is so small, it's insane.
Hey, who wrote that?
Hey, who wrote that? I don't know, you or your handlers?
When looking at pictures taken from outer space, the difference isn't enough to notice.
From which moon mission are these from?
The planet is so big that it's easy to lose track of a few hundred miles here and there. But check it out. If you could take a giant string and measure the Earth's circumference through the poles, you'd need 24,860 miles of string.
Which is oddly the exact coastline distance of Antarctica.
But if you do the same at the equator, it would jump to 24,900 miles. Why is that, you ask? Well, it's because our planet rotates on its axis. Ever spin yourself?
Are you guys? Nobody's falling for this, right? Kind of like me after the holidays. The reaction is comedy gold. Oh, dude, it's just so stupid. It's so stupid. He's like, listen, you can't tell that it isn't a perfect sphere, but because of the spin that you can't test for, that every time there's been an experiment to test for the spin of the Earth, it's always come back that there is no spin. But if you factor in that and the other nonsense thing, now you can see why the string would be longer, even though it wouldn't. It's like, what? That's why they have to start you at 5 to believe this nonsense.
Really fast on the playground merry-go-round when you were a kid?
Yep.
Remember feeling like the thing was going to throw you out to the sides?
Yes, and you've never felt that way on the Earth.
Actually, I remember I was throwing up a lot. Not a good ride for me.
It's probably because you were just raped by your handler, but that's a different story, isn't it, bright side?
Something similar happens to the Earth's midsection as it spins.
Oh, okay.
The force causes it to bulge out.
Really?
Yes, it's spinning fast enough to do that.
Okay.
Anybody tuning in from the equator right now, you're currently moving about 1,000 miles.
Right, okay. So just understand that this is all to explain that there's a bulge around the middle that is so insignificant, if you shrank it down, a tennis ball would be less symmetrical. And this is the entire thing, is to explain why planes don't fly over the Pacific Ocean to save money. This is all bullshit. And then you're called insane for questioning the globe Earth model. It makes no sense. And then no one's allowed to fly over Antarctica because of penguins. That's all real.
Per hour. That 40-mile difference in the Earth's width might not seem like very much.
That 40-mile difference might not seem much, but it's a perfectly good explanation why you would add another 1,500 miles to your trip.
But when it comes to the surface area of an entire planet, that little bit of added girth can go a long way. The combination of these two factors, the curvature of the Earth and its extra
Okay, that little bit of girth can go a long way. You're showing that it doesn't.
equatorial width, ooh, I like that, mean that curving toward the poles is a shorter distance than flying, what seems like on a map, straight across.
Now, see, the wizardry here is that map they're showing is not 2D. It's technically two-dimensional, but it's of the 3D. Like, they're amplifying what it looks like. You guys get it. It's bullshit.
None of this is to say that planes never cross the Pacific Ocean. People have to get to Australia somehow, I guess.
Right, so why on earth would that happen? Well, if you look at this image of the United Nations depiction of the Earth, which in this is a flat realm, you would fly over the Pacific Ocean to get to Australia. So this guy's doing his funny Catskill style humor and saying, I mean, some people, I guess, have to go to Australia for some reason. So what about the curve of the Earth and all the fucking bullshit that he was just talking about? Does that apply to Australia or any other place where you just the straight line is clearly just... All right, let's watch. I mean, sometimes people, I guess...
I'm not so much into giant insects and spiders, but hey, to each his own. Just kidding.
Yeah, I'm not so into liars and wizards.
Australia. Anyway, planes will also venture over open water to avoid storms. While aircraft can outclimb some types of severe weather, such as hurricanes and tropical storms, seemingly mundane thunderstorms are surprisingly challenging. With clouds reaching altitudes of over 60,000 feet, airplanes are advised to steer around instead of into or over them.
So his new argument is that the flight path from Los Angeles to Japan clearly goes over 1,000 miles out of its way because of storms and bulging.
It's almost unheard of for modern aircraft to be brought down by severe weather.
Almost unheard of. The odds are zero. It's zero.
Bad enough turbulence can cause injuries.
Want to know what actually takes down planes? The people in the planes? The shit food they serve in the planes.
Passengers and crew if they, and all the stuff they've packed with them, get tossed around the cabin.
No way.
The takeaway here is keep your seatbelts fastened at all times.
No, the takeaway is you're a liar, and we know it.
And planes will sometimes brave an oceanic voyage is to take advantage of the smoother ride.
No way.
Even in clear weather.
So then why would they go over Alaska? I thought you just said that there's a reason that they go over land because it's safer, so that they can crash land in the mountains. And now he's saying that it's safer to go over water.
Turbulence over water than over land.
Oh, okay.
This is because the primary source of turbulence is hot air rising up from the ground.
Lies.
Hey, there's a lot of hot air rising up from this.
So lies cause turbulence because this guy's saying a lot of hot air out of his mouth.
Microphone. Water distributes heat a lot better than soil, so flights over the ocean are often much smoother.
So then why the fuck would they fly over the water? It's almost like it's not a globe.
The other primary consideration for determining flight paths are air currents, namely the jet streams.
Right.
These high-altitude air currents exist near the top of the troposphere. That's the lowest layer of the Earth's atmosphere, and the one where most weather occurs.
Oh, right on.
The border between the troposphere and the next layer up, the stratosphere, is known as the
Introducing new words is always a great tactic of the wizard.
Its altitude fluctuates between 4 and 12 miles above the Earth's surface. This fluctuation results in rapid shifts in air temperature and pressure.
Right, I can't listen to his voice anymore. So, notice that there's also no Antarctica in the UN map. And Antarctica is so important to these people that no one's allowed to go in the whole world. No human being is legally, look it up, no human being is legally allowed to go on an expedition in Antarctica. You're allowed to go to a few spots that have been approved. And if you don't, you are shot on sight. Shot to death. So Antarctica, because of its ecological reasons, you're not allowed to fly over it. You're not allowed to take a four-wheeler or a snow buggy. You can't even use dogs. And if you do, you have to pick up the dog shit. This is all real. Put it in hazmat suits. Because apparently during the 1950s, everyone was so just concerned about the penguins. Not Korea, Vietnam, Cuban Missile Crisis, all the wars, all the people dying, the 80-something thousand Americans who died in Vietnam. No, it's about the penguins. What about the penguins? They don't want to have to hear the hum of a flight 35,000 feet above them. They offer flights over Antarctica. No, they don't, Chinaman, and you're now banned because we both know that isn't true. You can do. I won't take the ticket, my friend. If anyone studied this, it's me. There is no commercial flights over Antarctica. None. And you're not allowed to take any of your own planes over Antarctica. None. And the reason? Environmental. It's such bullshit. So Happy Feet is based on a true story. You're a flat earther then, BB? You're now banned. Presenting false binaries. I don't have to be anything. If I make fun of Cortez and someone says, oh, so now you're a Republican? Now you're Dan Crenshaw? No, I'm not. I don't like Dan Crenshaw. Just because it's not, guys, it's clearly not a spinning globe. The odds are zero. None. And I know that hurts people and they feel shame and anger. I don't care if it hurts your feelings. It's not true. And it costs a lot of people their entire lives of nonsense. 1950 treaty happened after World War II. Think Hitler has anything to do with Antarctica? Yep. Hitler went to Antarctica. A lot of these dudes, one of the reasons that there's this one world global banking system, guys, so much of this shit is just about the shape of the earth. It's like realm earther, right? Realm. I don't know what it is. When you say flat earth, it immediately evokes something stupid. That it's just this like flat thing in space and people can walk off it and it's retarded. Can you dig down? Do you fall into a pit and you go into space? That's an image that's stupid. And it's not real. What is it? I have no idea. I tend to lean towards biblical explanations. But it's clearly not what they say it is. It's a realm. It may be infinite. I don't know. But it's definitely not. So you're a flat earther. I know why people like to pigeonhole people. It's to keep them in the pen, right? Oh, so you don't like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, about with the baby eating. So that means you like Dan Crenshaw, who takes his marching orders from Israel. No. There's many more than just two options for everything. BB, please compare flights from Buenos Aires to Los Angeles and Buenos Aires to New Zealand. I will. I've looked at all that stuff. I wasn't even going to talk about this stuff, but it's all ridiculous. Hitler sent submarine fleets there. Yeah, Hitler was obsessed with the ice wall. Oh, and just so happens, it just so happens that the Antarctica, even like according to the scientists, wink, wink, is higher than all the continents. So the highest level of land in the world is Antarctica. Why does this matter? Because it sounds almost like an ice shelf. Like it's the rim. I don't know what it is, but I know what it isn't. Nephilim are sleeping in Antarctica. Yeah, that's what some people think. Could be true. Opening up Antarctica to the public would absolutely trash the point. Opening up Antarctica, you're banned because you're the dumbest person alive. Yosemite is open to the public. Yellowstone is open to the public. The Amazon rainforest is not only open to the public, you can fucking log it. All of Siberia. No one opening up Antarctica to the public would absolutely trash the place. Because of the millions of people that would just want to go there and just throw garbage everywhere. How? I mean, it's just like, I think it's funny, like that guy exists. I don't hate that guy. It's like, if you open up Antarctica to the public, everyone would trash the place. Okay, the Great Lakes are open to the public. Like all the fresh water. I grew up on a Great Lake. You're allowed to throw cigarette butts and piss in it and fuck in it. People were just fucking and pissing in it. It's like the largest reserve of fresh water in all of America. But people are like, listen, if we open up Antarctica, people are just going to go trash the ice. You can't get a permit from the government to go to Antarctica and just have an expedition with like just yourself. I mean, we don't want to trash it. Let's just go to Yosemite and cover it with shit and steal some bikes. Area 50. It's just so dumb. I don't. It's like I just hope that person isn't in charge of like a family or something. You know, sometimes I like the only time I get like bothered by those people is like I just think like, is someone call that person dad? Where it's like, Dad, what? How do we stay safe? Like, what do we do today? Like, what should I do with my life? And he's like, listen, we can't go to Antarctica because people have just trashed the place. What, Dad? I mean, they're trying to help everyone by keeping it off limits. I mean, what's next? Genocide? We should crowdfund Owen to fly. No, it's illegal. Guys, you can't I looked into it. I'm a blood relative of Clark from Lewis and Clark, guys. I got exploring in my DNA. You don't think I'm looking into Antarctica? I'm not allowed. You have to ask the DOJ permission to go, and then they deny the mission. It costs $2 million just to apply. You're not allowed to use a snowmobile, a car, a plane. And if you use dogs, you have to pick up all of their urine and feces. And then they make it open to the public so that any third party can sue you for environmental reasons and not allow you to go. I've been looking into Antarctica, guys. You're not legally allowed to go to Antarctica. And this guy's like, I mean, what's next? Everyone trashes the place? It's the edge of the earth. You could crowdfund me $1 million, and I would not, they would shoot me on sight. Because I looked into the penalties. Like, what's the worst thing that happened? You just go, don't ask permission? No, they kill you. They kill you. There's bases there. It's shoot on sight. Look it up. Shoot. It's as if you're going into a military base. The entire continent of Antarctica. And the treaty was signed in the 1950s between the United States and Russia, before environmentalism existed. Before environmentalism existed, they were worried about them happy feet. Antarctica is someone's yard. Use an air balloon? Nope, shoot it down. I've looked into it. Prove it, says guy who just got banned for life. They fear an incident involving 9 gay ice skaters. That's hilarious. You're also restricted to one specific spot. You aren't allowed to explore the rest on your own. Right, exactly. The way they got around this is there's one spot you're allowed to go with armed security. And that way, retards, no despair. But why would anyone have despair? This is fascinating. This is one of the most interesting things I've ever heard about. Is there a guidepost every 50 meters? I mean, you should just go wing it. Antarctica is where they keep the rest of Joe Rogan's height. Exactly. 1959, after World War II, during the Cold War, while Stalin was still in control, America and USSR signed a treaty, not for the, all the wars they were proxy wars they were doing, that no one was allowed to go to Antarctica. And then even if you go, there's a bunch of countries like New Zealand, Argentina, UK, a bunch of countries that have rights to different sections. So even if your Department of Justice allows you to go after you spend the millions of dollars, no one sues you, you get approved years later, any of those countries can then evoke their right to not allow you on their land. It's insane. Whose base is there? It gets even crazier. The whole world. It's a treaty signed by like 100 countries. Like the only thing people can agree on is that Babylonian magic squares are great and no one's allowed in Antarctica. Raid Antarctica? No! You'll die. No. Just talk about the intrigue. I don't break laws, guys. I look at laws in the different states I go to even. Like as far as like guns and everything. You play by the rules, man. We deserve the technology to get we destroy the technology to get to Antarctica. And okay, this is when things get even crazier. John Kerry, on the night of the election in 2016, went to, can anyone guess? Antarctica. This is public knowledge. You can look it up on his Wikipedia page. There is elements of hiding in plain sight in this stuff. 2,000, you won't die, says guy who's not going to go. 52,000 for a 6-day vacation to the South Pole. I'm going to put you in a timeout, Frosty the Bear. I just explained that. If you're going to spread nonsense, you're in a timeout. You have a bear name. I'm not going to ban you. But you're only allowed to go in a 5-mile. How is this? Do people not listen? Like, I just explained that. Did you not hear it? Googled fly to South Pole. They say it will cost me around $51,000. Okay, you're now banned for life. Yeah, you go to one spot and they don't let you go anywhere else. Do I need to explain it again? Like, is it repetition that people need? So the South Pole doesn't exist at all. No. And also magnetically, you can do an experiment where you have magnetic north and then south can be a ring. It's fascinating. Simple but weird. Where's John Kerry nowadays? I don't know. But John Kerry, 2016, on election night, goes to Antarctica. I mean, this is the ultimate super sneaky, like, fun mystery to solve. I've accepted that I won't be able to go to Antarctica. Oh, and here's another thing. The Earth could be a ball. It just has to be huge. The curve isn't lining up. It's not what they say it is. Theoretically, it could be a globe. It just would have to be, like, unbelievably big. Because the curve has been disproven. There's no curve. There's no curve that you can witness in a way that it should line up with. It's not real. You can do it on Lake Michigan. You can do it with any lighthouse. Lighthouses wouldn't operate. They wouldn't be able to work with the basic curve. I don't know what the Earth is, but it's not what they say it is. Condition the mind through repetition. That's a good point, Danny. Obama has been the Pope and other leaders. Exactly. It gets so into because the retards, like the one I just banned, they're like, I mean, why would we go back to the moon? There's nothing there. It's just a big old stupid rock. They say the same shit about Antarctica. They're like, there's nothing there but a bunch of penguins. And if you legally allowed people to go, they just trash the place. The Pope, Obama, John Kerry, all these people have been to Antarctica recently. What's there? Hitler was obsessed with Antarctica. Obsessed. They went to Antarctica to check it out. It's shaped like a bowling pin. It's pretty funny. They put globes everywhere and people always wear NASA clothes. Well, I don't care what other people do. I'm doing my thing. There's 3,000 people listening to me ramble about Antarctica. We're on tour. We're crushing. Everyone's having a blast. Just because there's retards doesn't mean you don't have to have a great time. Like, you can have a great time in your life. Yes, there's going to be people wearing NASA shirts just going, we can go back to the moon in a nanosecond, but we destroyed the technology. And if we went to Antarctica, we would trash the place. Those people are always going to exist. There's people that are like that I love as humans. Does that blow your mind? There's people that exist that currently think we went to the moon. We made a phone call. Came back. Never could go again because of what they say. And Antarctica is, I mean, what's next? There's people that think that way that I love. That I think are wonderful people. You know, it's like people don't have to line up. I find it frustrating that some of that stuff is so obviously nonsense. But, like, if their intention is okay, I can still love those people. I don't mind, like, one person I can think of in my life right now that is a guy I look up to a lot, and I would love to be like him when I'm his age. Like, I think he's a wonderful man. He thinks we went to the moon, you know, all of it. You know, and he's like a great man that I look up to currently. It's like there are walls in people's minds that they can't get past because of programming. And that's fine. It doesn't mean that they're bad people. There is programming in this world. You know, and it doesn't mean that they're bad people. It's bad if they then are like, fuck you! You know, at that point, I'm like, fuck you. Is Putin gone? I believe he has. No proof of gravity? No, there's no proof of gravity. Yeah, science got hijacked. Science became a religion sometime around Newton. We can't go to the moon because we just trashed. We can't go to the moon or we just trashed the place. Guys, they claim that they drove a fucking like a dune buggy. And then they stopped going because it was too easy. You got Obama saying, oh, we're going to go to Mars. We're not going to go to the moon. Frankly, we've already been there. And everyone's like, you're crushing, Obama. It's so stupid. We should send black people to the moon. There's no bikes. They wouldn't go. I'm telling you, Dan Pena was on that trip with Kerry. I wouldn't be surprised. 1666, yeah, dude. Gravity is all nonsense. All right, people have trashed Mount Everest, but there's so many dead bodies on Mount Everest that they have an issue with human shit. People still go all the time. Did I go to Idaho? I don't know. I might not approve. I've never met an Antarctican. No. Oh, and it's the only flag with the shape of the country on the flag. It's almost like they're making you think something. Can you explain how science is religion? No. I mean, I could, but I don't feel like it. It's pretty obvious to anyone that isn't a retard. PewDiePie is being held captive in Antarctica. That's pretty funny. Anytime someone says the science is settled, it's religion. Science, by definition, can never be settled. You're supposed to attack and question everything all the time. That's what science is. When someone says science is settled or to go against science, it has then become consecrated ground. You're now entering the realm of the religious. That it's like, it is written, therefore it is. It has been written. Science can't be settled by definition of science. So we are in a great spaceship that contains the Earth. How did you come up with that from everything I'm saying? I had to run an errand. I like where I started back up, Antarctica. So it's fascinating. Antarctica is all right. I got to go, though. I got a show tonight. But all the shows are sold out, so I can't pitch the show. But if you want to support, you can send a super chat to P.O. Box 727, Gig Harbor, Washington, 98335. Unauthorized.tv will be the only place where we show the documentary You're Doing Great, Kid, or the new special. And just a final thought on this, it's don't be scared of being interested in things. And like wondering the shape of the earth, if you get angry at me and you can't hear it and all this stuff, it's like, that's on you. It's on you. And it's only going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt me. I'm having a great time. Like, literally, my life is unbelievably rewarding and fun. And it's like, if you're like, oh, damn, Owen, he's crazy, kook, but it hurts you, not me. And so just let it go. You can think the earth is a spinning globe, and I can still love you because it's been tested. There's someone in my life that is on board with every single baby boomer thing, and I think he's a great man. So just know that don't get angry at me because we don't line up on stuff. I think globe earth is retarded. It's like, and then when you see how it happened and the great lies of it, it's fascinating. Kepler, Copernicus, Galileo, Newton, these men are real sneaks. You know, which is also goes with my thesis that grabblers are not contained by the hats. Grabblers everywhere. Grabble, grabble, grabble. Grabblers and babblers. Babblers are those who speak lies. It's not contained to any specific demographic. And a grabbler is those who take things that are not theirs. All right. Rogan's up, everybody. And comment on this video anything you'd like to see me make fun of in Indiana or Ohio. Because I'm all ears. I'm writing all new shit all the time. So much love, and thanks for listening, and have a great day. Rogan's up, everybody. Be fruitful and multiply. Don't be fruity and blow a guy. And Antarctica, dude. You're not allowed to go.